Now let's verify that we're able to record instrument tracks, and instrument tracks are very similar to MIDI tracks, except that instead of allowing the MIDI information on the track to be sent out of a physical MIDI output on your computer or MIDI or audio interface, instead, that MIDI information can be used to play a virtual instrument inside of Cubase and have the audio from that virtual instrument transmitted to the audio outputs of your audio interface. So you can think of it as a track with multiple personalities. It has a MIDI front end and an audio back end. So let's create an instrument track, and the easiest way to do that is actually over here on the right zone, which again, we'll go over a little bit later. If you can't see the right zone, make sure that this little button that shows or hides the right zone is enabled. Then go to the Media tab and make sure that you press the little Home button, because if you're somewhere else, you may not be able to see what you're seeing on my screen. So clicking that Home button will always take you back to the main window of the Media tab. Then click on VST Instruments, and you'll see a whole bunch of different instruments that I have here in my list. You may not have as many because I have a whole bunch of third-party plugins installed on my computer, but what we're looking for is Halion Sonic SE. So I'm going to scroll down here until I see Halion Sonic SE, and here it is right here with a little SE at the end of it. So if I click on this Halion Sonic SE VST or virtual instrument and drag that over underneath the MIDI track that I created, it's going to create an instrument track for us, and it's going to add the desired VST instrument onto the back end of that track. And that way we can record MIDI onto that instrument track and have it play the sounds on this instrument. But we will need to install a sound into slot number 1 here. Let's go ahead and call up the browser here by clicking that little drop-down menu. And let's go to Piano and Acoustic Piano, and then I'm going to scroll down here until I see the Yamaha S90 ES piano, because that's a nice piano that comes with Cubase. Now in that first sound slot, we have that piano. Now I can just close this window for the time being. I have the instrument track that was created for me when I dragged the Halion Sonic SE instrument over into this window, and you'll notice that it gave it a name, and the record light is on. So now, if you have verified that you're recording from the desired MIDI input from your controller or other MIDI device that you have connected to your computer, then when you play notes on your keyboard, you'll be able to hear that piano. Now we can record some MIDI information onto that instrument track and make sure that the Record Enable button is on that track before you do this. So let's rewind all the way back to the beginning of our project by clicking the Stop button. You'll see that that playback cursor went back to the very first measure. Then I can hit the Record button, and now when I play notes on my keyboard, it will record the notes and play the associated VST instrument sound. Then if I wanted to hear that back, I'm going to rewind here to measure 5 and press the play button. One other thing you'll notice about instrument tracks is that the MIDI output, we now have the virtual instruments on our computer that we have installed in the computer, including a great one that comes with Cubase called Halion Sonic SE. So it does still have a MIDI input source, but the output source now is not necessarily a MIDI output. Instead, it's a MIDI output connected to a virtual instrument. And that virtual instrument is what's actually creating the audio that we're hearing. And so next, let's record an audio track.